H2K has to exceed their performance. Now, they did pick blue side. Let's find out whether or not they're going to get that Syndra or if Samsung will ban it away and if Victor will be taken off the table.
Yeah, H2K can actually also go for Poppy if they want to and just remove all these scaling picks from CuVee that he's using to sit in that side lane and be really, really annoying. Nidalee banned on blue side, on red side, sorry, not a surprise. We expect the Syndra to come in as well from Samsung last.
And we've got one game of our MF before. We're joining it. Everybody's banning it nowadays. And she will find herself on the bench for this game.
Yeah, I wonder if H2K even would play it, if they've had enough time to practice it in case CoreJJ locked in Zyra in his first rotation. He obviously wouldn't have done it knowing MF was open, so she's removed. Still have things like the Poppy available, and they do remove the Victor. I like that, actually. Take it away from Crown, his best champion.
That means that the Ryze is available, though. Is that first pick worthy for Ryu? He's been one of the great Ryzes of the tournament. You know, had some very strong performances on it as well. And it is dangerous to leave it up for Crown.
Undefeated 2-0. We've seen Olaf first picks shine through fairly frequently. Jankos had a great performance in the previous game. Where does H2K want to go with that?
Yeah, we know Ambition wants to play Olaf as well. It's one of his most played champions here at the tournament. He's really liked both Olaf. If he could get Nidalee, we've all seen a lot of Rek'Sai from him, but Olaf is definitely above it. Ryze, though, is considered such a power pick, honestly. Not exactly same exact tier as Syndra, but just under her and above the rest of the mid laners. There's the Olaf for Ambition, and that's something H2K will expect and most likely go Lee Sin against it. I think Lee Sin is actually a fine pick against Olaf. You're very mobile, he's never really going to catch you. And it's a key pick for Jankos if he wants to be a big playmaker. And when you have something like Ryze, you can set up a lot of plays very easily.
Definitely true. That's exactly where I was going to go with the next point, because you can set up a gank in the mid lane very easily. And Jankos has a much higher percentage of his time spent around the teammates, you know, going for those ganks, especially in mid lane. Ambition and Crown actually do not collaborate a lot in the first 15 minutes.
Only other option is Elise if you want to go Jayce top lane for Odoamne, so you get the magic damage jungler with the physical damage top laner. It's something we have seen a lot from H2K before. We know Odoamne likes to be on the Jayce, but Lee Sin is the standard choice against Olaf.
There we go. Lee Sin and Karma will be the option. So once again, that Karma into Zyra, something you've seen a lot this world. My eye's going to be on Ryu. Whether or not he's going to step up his performance from game one. Got a champion that arguably has a bigger impact with the use of that ultimate. Samsung Galaxy's turn to pick. Jhin is available. It was banned in game one, and Rula has been a phenomenal Jhin. Does he want to run that with the Zyra, knowing you've got that range combo? Or does he want to lock in that safer Ezreal?
I think you go Jhin.
Oh, there we go.
He agrees.
You're a genius.
Thank you. I just predicted that one just when he locked it in. But no, I think Jhin is such a power pick for a lot of these Korean AD carries that are so good with skill shots. And we've seen it time and time again how Jhin can do extremely well in the laning phase. And then in the mid game with Ghostblade, he can create so many picks and has so much damage.
My question now is, will Forgiven go back to the Ashe? Because he has played it a decent amount before. But, I mean, is that something he really wants to bring out versus the Jhin? You can Ashe Arrow the Jhin as soon as he opens up for his ultimate. It also gives you pick potential,
right?
You know, on something like Cassiopeia or Zyra, which is Zyra's been the prime target for those Ashe Arrows.
They do play a lot of Lucian. If they really want to win the laning phase, it's kind of Forgiven's special pick still. It's going with something like Lucian with a range support and try and play around that bottom side and see if you can snowball him. I like Ashe though, personally. I think actually she's a super good choice as you highlight. Seems like Forgiven wants to go back to Sivir once again. And again, it's a little bit of a tricky laning phase for the H2K bottom lane. Definitely not one where you dominate 2v2.
No, it's not, but there's so much mobility on that side. Ryze, Lee Sin, Karma, Sivir. And allow them to run circles around Samsung Galaxy. They're going to need all that mobility to dodge every single shock blast that CuVee will be firing out. And you've got a terrifying pick, amount of pick on the side of Samsung. Somebody gets rooted down and poked down. And Ambition's Olaf will run them down.
Yeah, honestly, there's a lot of damage on both of these compositions. And we are probably in for another game with a lot of early fireworks.
I think H2K kind of ran out of options when it came to top lane pick. I couldn't really go Jayce due to the amount of physical damage already with Lee Sin and Sivir. So went for Rumble, where Jayce is a very standard pick against it, because you can just rush Hexdrinker on Jayce and you can actually start beating this Rumble in the side lane. So we have kind of the same situation as last game, where CuVee once he gets a bit of time, will start taking over that top side, and Odoamne has to TP into team fights to have an impact in the game.
And I do really like the Rumble versus something like the Jhin and the Zyra. That's such a low mobility backline. It makes it very easy to land that ultimate on. Also, Ryu can get in there. 2-second snare from Ryze is no joke if you have to sit on the entire thing.
Yeah, H2K's composition can very easily play around bottom side. You have Ryze who can use his ulti to get over certain walls and actually get behind the enemy bot lane tower, and then TPing in with that Rumble you just highlighted, Kobe, and you have a lot of AoE and a lot of ways to fight on the bottom side of the map. Problem is this Jayce can get out of hand top lane, so they have to be able to pull some of these plays off.
We'll find out how well CuVee can handle the Jayce. Odoamne showed off during the quarterfinals. Yesterday, last game of the day, wasn't going to help out the Rocks Tigers. You guys at home, jump onto Twitter, let us know which plays you remember most using that hashtag #WorldsBigPlays. We're loading up for game 2 as H2K are down 0-1 against Samsung Galaxy.
Yeah, definitely excited to see how that top lane does turn out, because we've seen Jayce's just take over the game. And this is CuVee once again showing how flexible of a top laner he is. He hasn't played a game of Jayce this season, and yet taking it right into Odoamne's Rumble. Also taking it right into the same bush.
Yeah, but they're taking more people with them. You got top laner here.
Like, all right, we're going to just run right straight through this brush.
I'm actually happy to see Vander not go further forward, because he's had a few whoopsies in the early game throughout Worlds. A couple of those face checks and biting off way more than he was able to chew.
A lot of them revealed, though, and you can see here, Jankos and Odoamne up here are going to leave the ward on red buff. So H2K will start out with a little bit of extra information here on Ambition.
Yeah, they obviously know that most junglers like to start on top side of the map. Olaf as well wants to go down, get red buff, and then get blue after when he's out of mana.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of Olafs will start on the blue buff for a faster clear to be able to spam those out. The Krug Smite, though, is very good for Olaf as well, because he gets so much attack speed.
But also with Ambition getting later blue buff now, he can actually have more impact on the map after he's clear, where he's still going to be fine on HP, can contest Rift Scuttler, maybe look for level 3, level 4 gank, something we have definitely seen before from these Olaf with the Ghost early game.
The important thing to me is that the ward on this red is going to see the exact path of Ambition, and Lee Sin is perfect for killing Olaf when he gets low health in the jungle. This is something I've been prepping the entire tournament since we've seen Olaf. He likes to get low in the jungle, so he gets more attack speed, and Peanut on Rocks was the only guy to go in and try and kill Olaf in his own jungle while he was low. Ambition is actually chugging a potion fairly early there, though, not going with the kind of greedy route for Olaf, where he doesn't chug any and gets low.
I feel like we've seen this before from a Zyra going wind speaker. The classic, whoops, wrong page.
How many times does a pro have to do that before you rethink your way?
Yeah, I'm like, is it really great? Well, what's happening there?
You know, you chug a potion, and then you get like one armor.
Yeah, definitely wants Thunderlords on it, so a bit of a misclick for CoreJJ, but should still be okay in the lane. And we get to see another ward being placed by H2K on the blue buff now. Jankos is not in a position to contest it, however. He did Grump Wolves into Raptors. Could actually rush over, but obviously with Ambition skipping his Raptor camp, he's already at the blue buff and will be able to secure it, get that mana back, and still healthy enough to impact the map.
Definitely healthy indeed. Got that mana, regenning Vander down in the bottom lane, trading with CoreJJ. Good boomerang for Forgiven, but he's out of consumables.
Plus, another big thing is that Ambition saw that ward place, so he knows that they've been tracking him.
He knows, they know.
I mean, it adds so much if you know the information that everyone else is working off of. That's why I love to see the players that will play those mind games where when you know you're exiting to Fog of War, very obviously go for one direction, and then pull something sneaky here like Jankos is doing when you have the Raptor Smite, which lets you know that you have not been spotted by a ward.
Never mind, he got the ward down. Well, wait from Jankos gonna spot Ambition here. Another option was just to take Rift Scuttler, because he was actually waiting for Rio to return to lane. Rio had to go back to get the early tier. He wants to give the blue buff to Rio, and had to wait for him to come back. So he could actually have done Rift Scuttler, decided to go for Raptor, see if maybe Ambition wasn't there.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is that you have to catch him low. Otherwise, Olaf will absolutely destroy Lee Sin there in the 1 versus 1. I mean, Ambition is already out to that level lead, you know, up that one camp. And Jankos has been trying to walk around and get more information, but Ambition is going to grind out that lead.
Yeah, it was definitely just a play to steal away a camp and not really kill the Olaf.
Not this time around. Every time we look at that bottom lane, Ruler and CoreJJ are trading blow for blow. with Forgiven and Vander as Ambition spots out the ward. Odo realizes he's now in trouble. Trinket was just recently used, so going to be in the dock for a little while.
But it's always fun because Jankos saw Ambition at the Raptor camp. Odoamne has like a rough timer in his head of when could Ambition be top lane, so he goes down, places the ward just at the right time, finds Ambition as well, so they now see him on top side, and they don't die to a potential gank or are forced to flash away. It's all about tracking the jungler and having these rough timers in your head. That's why some junglers do crazy moves where they do the unpredictable, because then the timer is kind of off, and you can gank maybe 5 seconds before the guy would have otherwise warded.
Oh, big damage from CuVee. Jumps to the skies and puts the hammer down. Samsung Galaxy have already farmed a few hundred gold lead. They're up in CS in every single one of the lanes. It's a small amount now, but that trickle will eventually become a downpour unless H2K start to get some items under their belts.
And the biggest problem area there that I see, with that issue is the bottom lane. Again, H2K decided to go with this Sivir pick for Forgiven, which is gonna, lose the early stages of the lane like this. You have to really worry about how low your tower gets. The snowball that you can pull off of a first store gold, especially with an AD carry like Jhin that builds flat armor penetration super early on, can get off to a pretty good snowball. CuVee just gonna walk away.
A lot of damage from Odo. Gonna force out that acceleration gaze.
But it's where we have to talk about Forgiven and his champion pool, because he hasn't shown Jhin professionally at all. We looked at his solo queue account. He has been playing it a lot actually this week. It's his most played champion the last 7 days. But if he's not confident enough on it, if the team hasn't practiced with it because he hasn't played it for such a long time, you don't just randomly pull it out now. And that can be a big issue for H2K, because Caitlyn will be bad in every single game. And that was kind of his key pick to dominate the laning phase. Sivir can push lane, but not really be a big kill threat, and that's where Forgiven's impact will get reduced.
And that being said, we set this up as bottom lane pushing and all that. The bottom lane turret for H2K right now is actually very healthy, and the CS discrepancy is null at the moment, so not an issue this game right now for H2K. We'll see, though, as Ruler gets more and more longswords.
But if you look at how H2K have been winning games and now they have to beat Samsung, it is still a little bit of an issue, because they've been winning games by dominating these lanes, like big CS leads, take down that tower with something like Caitlyn, just keep poking away on tower, take it 2v2, maybe have Jankos come down once only. And that was one of the ways they got big leads, and Forgiven was super, super farmed up and fed. He's just not able to do the same because of the champion, not because of the player, but the champion. He might actually get ganked now as well, making it even worse.
Well, nobody's rooted. Forgiven and Vander looking to go out. Flash for flash. Spell's shield comes down. Ambition automatically exhausted. Boomerang Blade and Ricochet thrown out by Forgiven, but double summoners down in trade for one. Jump up into the top lane. Jankos finds CuVee. Odo throws down a great equalizer, turns the attention.
The king!
Jankos, the king lives.
And the king can go in and steal a red buff because they see Olaf down bottom. Meanwhile, Samsung will be happy to take this Infernal Drake.
Seen this before. Game 1 was defined by H2K's inability to convert objectives. How much damage will they get on the top lane turret? I don't think they'll take it down.
Well, there's no teleport for Jayce, and Jankos is still on top side. He can actually go back up to top lane and just sit between the two towers if he wants to look for more. Seems like he's fine just taking the camp and backing away.
I am a pretty huge fan of hard camping a lane like this, especially after you were just able to kill him and send it back to the fountain. But it didn't look like they were setting that before this replay went off. Obviously, that one was pretty textbook right there.
Yeah.
Positioning, no big problem.
Such a classic H2K move, however. Bot lane gets ganked. They do survive the gank this time around, only had to use summoners from Vander. And then Jankos is already on the other side of the map, trying to get Odoamne rolling. It's really been the recipe for success for H2K this split.
And he was setting that up well in advance. The thing is, we want to keep track of these Samsung, small things that they're doing in the game. As soon as they lose their top laner's life, immediately go for that dragon and get the Infernal, which is a very big objective, when we progress 10 minutes into the game.
Yeah.
Well, take a look at the mid lane. Ryu's in trouble. Doesn't get caught by the Petrifying Gaze. Crown throws down the cleanse. Gets away the ghost. Vander, no flash, remember. Takes a bunch of shots. Final curtain call. Will miss. Forgiven have the spell shield at the ready. But I want to go back. Crown plus 15 CS. This is a guy that's done pretty well in the laning phase, but he's already outshining Ryu both games this series.
Yeah, that is again huge for Samsung, because it's all about just go even, at least in the early game, and get to mid to late game where you are the stronger team. When you play H2K...
Oh no! Oh no! Ryu's in trouble! Here comes Ambition! Crown gets the kill! Jankos is running for his life. Crown's already flashed, so he can't chase further. But that's Samsung's first kill on the board.
Everything kind of going wrong for Rio here in the first 2 games. Jankos is very low. He's not able to take a fight and has to just back away. And same issue as in the first game for H2K, where mid lane starts falling behind. They have 0 pressure in that lane, and you need that pressure if you want to play very aggressive in the other lanes, because you can't let the other mid laner roam first.
Exactly, the pressure in lanes and the extra vision. Crown kites back there, very quick flash, baits them in across the miasma. And Ambition now gonna take a little bit of damage in payment for those Krugs.
Good to see some control from Forgiven and Vander. They don't chase into the darkness. CoreJJ was waiting in the bush, but Samsung, despite giving up first blood, they're up in CS. They've got a minor gold lead. QuickShot sidesteps the Sonic Wave, uses the hammer, and sends Jankos away.
The play he was trying to pull off before, just slightly too slow, and therefore he died. But this time around, just managed to defend himself, and Ambition might be caught.
Yeah, he is. Ragnarok's not available. Will get rooted down. No! He runs away! The Ghost's not going to be enough. Ryu flashes forward. But that's a flashless Ryze in a lane that he's down 20 CS.
But that's really important for H2K. They get a kill on this Ryze here. You got to get to that Water of Ages so quickly so you can start scaling as well. You have a fairly weak mid game on this champion, and now he's caught.
There's a flashless Ryze, a stunned Ryze. Crown gets the kill with the help of Ruler.
Roams from both bottom lanes. Here we go, top side though.
All right, Odo's now gonna get pressure down. The tower is the focus. CuVee's running out of mana. Tower's still alive, taken down. CuVee kicked over the wall. They trade 1 for 1. Somehow Vander goes down as well. But tower first blood to H2K.
I feel like H2K's top side is doing everything they can to try and get a big advantage, but then the other side of the map are kind of letting them down, especially around this mid lane where Crown is just taking over. Didn't get to do a lot in the early game on Victor, but in late game he was fantastic as always, and now he's sitting on 3 kills already. Massive CS lead, and this is huge for Samsung because they're so close to even already in this early game, and despite losing top tower, every other lane is doing fine.
All right, let's take a look at how Vander got caught. Good ulti there from Ruler. He's able to get the slow, so the follow-up is there from Crown and CoreJJ. The other thing I need to mention, though, is once again, you talked about, yeah, H2K, they're focusing top side. They're getting so much advantage on top side. The vision is just exploding for Samsung around Dragon Pit once again. That was the story. Last game, they had full control for the first 20 minutes of the game in that area of the map. And it's true once again. They have full vision in the red quadrant jungle here of H2K with pink wards to boot.
Now, it is a bit more effective for H2K to kill the Jayce compared to killing the Echo like you saw in the last game. Echo obviously will be so useful late game anyway. Jayce is a little bit weaker in that sense if he is behind, but Samsung are still fine trading all this pressure against their top laner to get advantage. But they need to get a tower. They haven't gotten enough damage on these towers on the bottom side, and that means H2K can now stop playing around mid and bot lane and try and snowball this advantage.
Well, look at all the vision. If Samsung Galaxy have complete control of vision around the bottom half of the map, multiple pink wards in the top, but this is allowing H2K to set up this little bit of an invade. Good pink ward from Samsung though. They're going to spot Odo and Jankos, and boom, they take an accelerated shot blast to the face. Going to contest this Bramble back. Support from Crown and Ryu was available, but not needed as H2K back away.
I'd also be very careful because this is going to be 2 Infernal Drake spawns. So if you power later in the game.
Yeah, luckily for H2K, they've gotten this top tower down so early, so now they can start sending this Rumble down to fight for these towers. They don't need to invest more ganks on top lane. Contest this Infernal Drake. Your Rumble is very, very strong. Bottom side as well. Forgiven is almost sitting on 1 item fully completed. Summoners will be available though, except for the flash on the Jayce. Everything should be ready for H2K very, very soon at least.
Yeah, feels that way. Samsung, though, they've survived the early laning phase. Yes, they have given up a tower, but 1,000 gold down. They've got a bunch of kills. They've got a dragon as well. And Crown is plus 40 CS, who's going to be one of the late game insurance policies for this team. take a glance down in the bottom lane. Forgiven is under a little bit of pressure. Runa opens up with a curtain call. First shot goes wide. CoreJJ is bound. Jankos gets the kill. They turn their focus to ambition. Odo's already teleported in. Equalizer not even needed. Summon a heal used. Finally, at the end, they throw it down. Maybe overkill. This should help with Dragon.
But exactly as we just talked about, H2K can put the focus on the bottom lane. Samsung, I'm not sure if they thought Jankos just went nearby because they started chasing almost blind towards H2K and got caught out. Dragon being started, there's a TP coming. Odoamne is back in base, he's not here.
No, he's not. Samsung realized this. Jankos has to get it. He does indeed. Tries to safeguard out. Not gonna happen. Crown gets the kill. Dragon for one. Maybe worth.
Definitely worth it, I think, there for Jankos to sacrifice himself. Don't want to see those Infernals stacking up for Samsung, and he goes back in to snag it.
Mid tower, though, is the one we need to look at. If Samsung can get more damage on it, they can still get a pretty good trade here. Rio is back to defend, though, and only a few minions will hit this tower, and everything is okay if you're H2K. And this, again, the focus on bottom side, because you got that top tower down so quickly. You don't need to camp the lane anymore, and clearly Samsung just don't expect it. They're actually chasing into a pink ward. They had zero vision. And also knew Odoamne had TP, so that's a poor play from Samsung, and they got punished for it.
Definitely a lot of power there on the Rumble teleporting in as well, even though he wasn't the determining factor. Jankos took out CoreJJ before he got to cast a spell as Zyra was deleted. Here they go, though, on the offense.
Good flash from Vander, gets him out to safety. But summoner spell blown, and as we crested 16 minutes, Jankos is the one with all the gold leads, plus 1,500 gold over Ambition. The problem is, Crown is plus 1,500 gold over Reeve. And where would I rather want my gold, Lee Sin or Cassiopeia? I think that's a rhetorical question.
Well,
always Cass.
That's funny to me because
Here comes the jungler. Me.
Jungler always deserves the gold. But honestly, if Jankos is going to 100% their support, give him the gold.
He's got that warrior enchant. He's got the Hex Drinker. And he's got some support in this mid lane. Look at this. Is that a 5-man stack coming through mid tower? Crown's strong. He's not that strong. Jankos zoning away the slithering snake. Curtain call comes up. That feels like it might be too late, though. The tower is the focus. Ambition getting burnt down. Overheat from Odo. The tower's still up. Still survives. H2K haven't finished it off. Odo couldn't equalize because he was overheating, and the tower still stands.
And H2K didn't get to commit to either of the choices yet. Didn't go for the kill, didn't go for tower either. Both now alive. Samsung gets to live another day, and top tower takes more damage. So Samsung slowly but surely working on them, and now down to Crown.
Cleanse, flash, Crown's running for his life. Support from Ruler in the river. CoreJJ's come up, no Stranglethorns to use. Jankos looks for him, doesn't get the 100-0 with the Dragon's Rage kick. And up in the top lane, CuVee kills Odo.
Yeah, again, Samsung managing to defend and then get a random kill top lane. Odoamne seems to just being caught out. Didn't even take the trade because CuVee is full HP.
Well, yeah, I mean, so Odo went up there with half health, I was watching, and then CuVee fled. He looked like he was fleeing into the brush. Saved his spot there in the brush, and then I'm assuming a shock blast landed to start it out because Odo didn't get much done in return.
Look at that.
2 turrets for it.
Yeah, and kind of like last game, just when we see something really good from H2K to pick up a few kills, even got Infernal Drake this time around, things just go wrong. I guess he just hides in the bush. Odoamne actually thinks he's gone. Doesn't think he's still here. And then, surprise.
Didn't even start out with the shock blast. Ends it then.
So clean. But at the end of it, that mid tower from Samsung survived 99 HP. H2K give up kills, 2 towers, donate gold to Rua. Samsung's mid game is terrifyingly good.
Definitely well played by Samsung, but also H2K when it really matters. And they have to make that correct call. Do we kill the Olaf? Do we kill the tower? Do we go for both, you know? It just goes a little bit wrong for them. It gets a little bit hectic. And then Samsung are just much better in terms of this overall communication and shot calling, and they get the advantage. Now ahead in gold as well.
And remember, so much of that gold is on Crown. He's got 4 of the kills on this Cassiopeia and 180 CS, 185. He's almost matching Forgiven down there from the bottom lane. H2K return to the scene, though, and they take the objective.
Now it is still a 600 gold game, and Odo still has the ability to turn team fights with Equalizer. But H2K cannot afford to make those same mistakes. The clean play from Samsung allowed them to win game 1 handily, allowed Samsung to get an 8-game winning streak. And once again, that is where H2K have to prove they can go blow to blow with the 3rd seed from LCK.
H2K have been able to match Samsung when it comes to skirmishes and team fights. But they've not been able to match the overall map play, and Vander is getting caught out again. And every single time it's Ruler, starting with that ulti, catching someone.
Yeah, the root came out from CoreJJ. Forgiven's being dove in a tower. Strangle Thorns and Petrifying Gaze keep Ryu out of the fight. Up in the top lane, Odo's overheating once again. Cannot get that equalizer down. CuVee's buying his time. Accelerated shot fast. Flash into the kill. CuVee's now looking for more. Flash over the wall from Jankos. Kicks CuVee backwards. Enlists the help of the tower. Round warp from Ryu as well. So it's 1 for 1, but it's going to lose another tower. And Samsung Galaxy can extend this goal lead even further.
Well played by Samsung once again, catching out H2K. This is what we just talked about. Whenever H2K has to look for the play, Samsung seems to just be a step ahead on the map. Often starts with Ruler popping that ulti, and then they try and find the support, whoever is left alone, and they get a few kills from a nice dive as well on Forgiven after. And really Samsung just speeding up the game.
Definitely huge props to Ruler in his rookie year, making it to semifinals of Worlds, and he was already drawing bans on the Jhin. First game, not available to him. Second game, he's showing you why. Here we go, though, with CuVee going for that turret dive.
When we talk about the champs, like how Jayce can win this 1v1. Now he's far enough ahead, he can just dive on the tower as well. And Odoamne knows, I mean, if he stays around, he's gonna die. Excited for him. Stayed for just half a second too long.
The 2 players that we were looking to H2K to really step up and carry the game was Odo and Ryu. We kind of anticipated in order for them to win the series, those are the 2 guys that needed to carry. Ryu's had a tough time outclassing him. And Odo not having the greatest Rumble game. What a quick glimpse there of Jankos. Jumped onto Ambition, but no real damage follow-up. And the rest of H2K peel away. They will get this Ocean Drake that's actually not terrible against some of the poke that Samsung Galaxy can put down. And they'll get that cleanly as well.
We have to go back to look at where can Odoamne join a fight. Baron is actually being started by Samsung. Only 2 members. Now a 3rd one joins. Everyone else from H2K are just around mid lane. They don't even realize this is happening.
They're too late to the party. Samsung Galaxy are going to secure it. Baron taken, 21.5 minutes.
That mid game from Samsung, able to... Oh, Ryu gets snared up again. Another hit from Ruler, but trading over the Ocean Drake there with no vision on the Baron. You can see Samsung didn't hesitate at all. Ambition pops his Ragnarok ultimate on Olaf to further burn down that Baron even quicker. And now with a sub 22 minute Baron there for themselves, that is ridiculously huge considering how close the game was.
And we just have to give so much credit to Ambition as a player for joining this team at the start of the year, start of Season 6, and instantly improved the shot calling on the team. They became a really good late game team suddenly when he joined. He obviously stepped up big time as a jungler as well after having a pretty poor summer split in Season 5 on CJ. But when he actually joins his team, they get so much better later on, and they're able to make these calls again and again. CoreJJ obviously helps as well with the added communication he brings.
That's what I wanted to add on there, because it seems CoreJJ since the Gauntlet has helped the team reach another new level. Every individual player stepping up, and Samsung Galaxy looking likely to close out this 2nd game in the semi-finals. Looking likely to make it back to the final. I mean, the organization of Samsung owns a World Championship title. It was completely different players. They had to rebuild and restructure. But over the last 2 years, they've progressively improved to this current form.
That's what makes it such an amazing story. These are not all-star Korean players. This is a group that Samsung pulled together. They finished 4th in summer in the most recent LCK split. And if we're handing out medals, we gotta hand one out to Crown as well, because he has been carrying a huge amount of their game.
He absolutely has, even more so when he's gifted those sorts of kills. Equalizer's decent from Odo, and all it's gonna do is slow down Samsung Galaxy. Flashes over the wall, that's a kill onto Crown. That's the shutdown goal, which could be so pivotal, but it's at the cost of a tower. CuVee takes another up top. There's still 1.5 minutes of Baron buff, and CuVee's not done. Last game he did it with Echo, this game he's doing it with Jayce. He plays the map better than anybody else on the in the Rift.
Yeah, he's so annoying in that side lane. H2K can't really deal with him because he can never kill him 1v1 due to the picks, but also due to his very smart play, and he's really hard for him to catch. He doesn't really get caught out that often, other than we've seen a few ganks early on, but that's just well played by Jankos, camping that lane. And Samsung are fine seeing that top laner die because they always get a drag and get a kill on the other side of the map. So they keep trading his life for something else.
As much work as Jankos has done and as hard as he has tried, just seems to be falling through the fingers here for H2K as Samsung once again, they very, very solid hold on this map. Look at the very few wards here for H2K as they're trying to get back out onto the map to get some room to play with.
Yeah, and it's so hard for H2K draft-wise because they really want to get a winning 2v2 bot lane, but they just can't with the Caitlyn being banned away. And then they also get ganked by Ambition a few times, making it even harder because Jankos is spending time topside, while then Forgiven and Vander are left alone on the bottom side for most of the early game. And then Ryu losing mid lane. It just means the bottom side is controlled by Samsung. 2 games in a row now, basically. And it kind of stops H2K from playing the way they like to play, where every single lane is dominating and winning.
Look at that stat. 6,000 average gold power play. He's going to be the target of a curtain call. It's a little bit of a heal there as he's forced to run away. Ambition looking to jump in, so no real kill threat just yet. Jankos and Odo, they're going to go toe-to-toe. QuickShot gets the more about Morpheus, trades a kill. Then it's 2-on-1. Even the best players will die. That's what Jankos proves.
I mean, QuickShot was solo killing Impact, now he's solo killing Odoamne. Now Ambition is actually under attack, but he's Olaf, should be able to walk away.
QuickShot hates Western top lane. He's just killing all of them alone here and being such a big threat in the game. Samsung constantly playing 4-man together and then the odd man out, sitting there and taking down towers.
It's even more impressive when you look at how the fact he was ganked a couple times. He lost his tower for Tower First Blood, yet still has a CS advantage, still has this gameplay advantage, and making Jayce show off what it should do against top tier players.
Yeah, just to add a little bit more credibility to that, in the interview they had with Smeb, he was talking about how Odoamne and Impact were the 2 best top laners as far as laning phase that he did play against. And here is CuVee coming in and destroying them.
I think it's important for the story, though, to highlight that QuickShot wasn't always like a fantastic top lane. It had honestly a very rough road to this World Championship. You know, he joined the organization 2 years ago after the big Samsung White team split up, Samsung Blue as well. And he's been with them ever since. But he was not considered a good top laner last year at all. Gotten better and better, but not played at this level until now.
Oh, he hasn't. Crown's going to be able to get away for now. Flash forward. Jankos gets the kick. Crown gets a gigantic shield. Stranglethorn will hold Ryu in place. Flash over the wall from QuickShot. Looking for more, but he's eaten up 4 members of H2K. Almost gets the kill. Curtain Call might be able to clean up. Very good route from CoreJJ. Equalizer doesn't do enough to help out. It's a 2 for 2, and Ambition's looking for more. Ragnarok was used to get into the fight, but he can't get any more kills.
Good start there from H2K, though, getting that pick and getting some kills and gold back in their pockets to try and get back into this game. Samsung don't give up on the play, though. After Crown gets kicked in, they still follow up, and Ruler on this Jhin can follow up from such a long distance. You didn't have to be there.
But H2K trying to do what they can do to get back in this game. Just keep looking for fights, see if you can outplay them. Great ulti from Crown, stopping 3 members, but Jankos still gonna get him. They take down the first guy. It looks okay, but there's a lot of damage now on the rest of H2K. And the only thing they got so far was 1 kill.
And QuickShot goes super deep. Looks like he's going to be the next sacrifice, but then Jhin ultimate lands, and the snare from CoreJJ keeps them in range of the Jhin ultimate, allowing Ambition to chase.
Great play by Samsung Galaxy. I think they got that Ocean Drake while we were in the replay as well. I'm just going to put one last little cap on this QuickShot discussion. Here at Worlds, got the most solo kills, so 1v1 out of any player. He's up to 14. He was leading Worlds in terms of solo kills as the semifinal started. He's picked up a handful more this series. And this was against Odo, who was a man who was doing similar things, but arguably against weaker competition.
Yeah, I mean, if you love underdog stories, you gotta love Samsung here. I mean, the way that they clawed their way into Worlds with Ambition playing since 2012 and never getting here. Now in his first time here, they make it all the way to semifinals and have this strong of a showing. And all the other members have kind of similar stories, multiple role swaps and coming from different leagues. really great what they've been able to accomplish here on the international stage.
The team didn't make playoffs more than once the last 2 years. And the one time they did make playoffs, funny enough, was in the summer split. Got them into the gauntlet as well. Beat KT 3-2, and now here we are.
In some ways, the struggling team story is fitting of both squads. Because H2K have traditionally not done well. Curtain Call flies out, and H2K over the last few years been looking for success. They've had a showing at Worlds, drawn into an incredibly tough group. But very different players, of course.
This might be the fight, Trevor, though, for H2K. If they ever want to get back into this game, they need to win this Baron fight here. Odoamne is keeping in behind them. Crown is sitting in the bush here.
Yeah, but CuVee's coming in from behind H2K. Jankos is looking for more. The equalizer looks good. Look at the backline. Odoamne's going forward, but Ambition's running for more. They've traded AD carry for support. It's not done yet. CuVe's unforgiven. CuVe's got forgiven. Vander's not going to be able to turn it back around. 3 members of H2K are down. CuVe's going to look for those shock blasts. Goes back into the mercurial form. Not going to fire it out. It's a 1 for 3, and they don't get enough.
Valiant effort there from H2K. They do stop the Baron for now.
Early Samsung Galaxy are low. Ryu and Vander, can they pull off a miracle? It's a 2v4. Vander throws up the speed boost. Baron is helping out with some damage. No, will not be enough, and Samsung Galaxy secure the Baron.
A lot of low members in that fight, but H2K didn't have the damage to take them down. That means another Baron for Samsung. Bigger advantage. That was the fight, honestly, for H2K to get back in this game. Sadly for them, Odoamne joined the fight maybe slightly later than Jankos had expected. He obviously couldn't do anything different because he was running down from top. Jankos doesn't get the proper kickoff either. And then just look at what the Jayce is doing here to Forgiven. If Forgiven wins this 1v1, H2K can actually take the fight. But this Jayce is super strong.
Yeah, I mean, man, CuVee playing frontline there as Rumble was coming in, and it looked like Odoamne was going to clean up the back line from Samsung there, but not able to get it off. And Samsung do come away with the Baron in the end. So H2K options are closing.
Absolutely, 10,000 gold down. Now they've got a couple dragons under their belt. Team fights are so one-sided with that item lead and the damage lead with another Baron buff as well.
Now, H2K, they need to play full defensive mode, try and farm up and defend these inhibitor turrets. They do have some wave clear here, but it's going to be very, very difficult for them to pull this off.
Especially when you consider how good Samsung Galaxy play on multiple lanes.
Oh, and look at the damage from Jayce on the turret.
Go in, pop your W, get a few hits super quickly down on the tower with your Baron buff, with your extra AD from these items here. And there's really nothing Odoamne can do to defend. And now the base is open. We are looking for one insane fight.
Well, gonna need more than that if H2K want to win, but they'll need one to stop this push. Forgiven gets out of range of the curtain call. Ryze are thrown down. They've got themselves a kill to CoreJJ. They found Ruler, but where's Crown and CuVee? Those are the two we gotta follow. Ryu's looking for Crown. They've managed to get one trade back. H2K have lost Odo. They've now lost Forgiven. It's all on Ryu. Ryu's going low. Defensive flash from Vander, and CuVee untouched in the H2K base. They've got an inhibitor top. They've got an inhibitor middle. And the base is in shambles.
What an awesome ulti from Ryu, though. Completely surprised Samsung. He appeared behind Samsung here with multiple members from H2K and actually picked up a lot of kills. Problem is, this Jayce and this Olaf are just sitting in the H2K's backline and returning the favor.
It really was an impressive ult. H2K not going down without a fight here as they step in behind the backline, take them out so quickly. But then, Crown tries to fight his way out 1 versus 3 there and takes the kill as he's able to escape. Jankos, I think, finishes him off by himself up on the top side off map here. But then, as you said, CuVee was untouched, and he is a monster inside the base.
CuVee 5-5-3, 292 CS. Looking to push home the second win in this best of 5. And, we told the Samsung story quite a lot, but I think it's also fair to talk about H2K. This year has been fraught with challenges. And this World Championship is the best form that this team has, I think, ever had. The players have shown up, they've had great play, they've looked good, and now the pressure is on for them to show that they can actually go toe-to-toe with Samsung Galaxy.
Yeah, and I think the best thing for H2K has been the meta. Like the change that happened after 6-15, removal of lane swaps, obviously. They're trying again in the bottom lane.
There's a lot of support for Samsung Galaxy. Jankos is looking for CoreJJ, but he will not find him. He's grounded thanks to the poison. Crown's going to be able to pop the GA. Now Samsung are flanking Forgiven and the rest of H2K. Ambition throws down the Ragnarok. Doesn't have Ghost, but doesn't even need it. Ryu just gets dunked. The hammer comes down. Forgiven throws up the spell shield. Samsung Galaxy shields flying wide. Stranglethorn's not even needed. 3 kills for Samsung. They're inside the base. H2K, they are getting destroyed. Flash away from Forgiven, and CoreJJ is the only kill that H2K can secure. Samsung Galaxy are 1 win away from Staples and a shot at the World Championship title.
I feel like Game 2 reminds me a lot of Game 1, honestly, where Samsung are able to either trade whenever H2K is doing something or even beat H2K at certain parts of the early game, especially around the bottom side of the map and the mid lane, where Crown is just outplaying Ryu at the moment, and it gives Samsung enough gold early on to at least stay even. And then you get to that mid to late game where they are just so good and where they're much stronger than H2K as a team.
And the main hope for H2K so far has been Jankos. Jankos has definitely showed up here versus Samsung. He has been as much as you can ask from a jungler so far.
Sadly for him, Ambition is also here to play, able to kind of mirror what Jankos is doing all the time. And again, it really hurts H2K that the bot lane, due to the picks and due to the jungle pressure, can't get that big advantage, and Ryu not able to get the advantage in mid lane. And that just means you don't win the early game all of a sudden, and you have to play the Samsung game.
Let's stop taking a look at sort of the gameplay decisions where I think it's pretty clear that Samsung has the edge. Let's look at those 2-game drafts. Is there anything that H2K could tweak or change, knowing their red side, knowing they can get 2 theoretical power picks? Because if they're not able to get those lanes going in this next game, their World Championship run ends today.
A big problem has also been, you know, once they transition to the mid phase, Samsung have had the upper hand in the split push both times.
Yep.
And Samsung work with that very well. I mean, you can always see them immediately go to the other side of the map for those cross-map sort of answer plays whenever H2K go for something. So when H2K make a victory, it ends up being even as Samsung answer, but then they also still will retain an extra minion wave here and there.
So this game, they could have gone Jayce if they wanted to, instead of giving it over.
Yeah.
They went for Rumble, went for Teamfight, could have gone for Jayce. Problem was they already had so much physical damage, so you have to swap the Lee Sin for Lee's jungle as well, so there could be a few tweaks. Bot lane-wise,
Gonna need a lot of tweaks.
yeah, gonna need a lot, obviously, but bot lane, if Forgiven doesn't play Jhin, there might be a limit on what he can pick to actually dominate the lane.
If Forgiven doesn't play an AD carry or won't play an AD carry, it's a discussion that Forgiven has had about his gameplay for a very long time. Let's hand it down to the analyst desk to hear what they say about game number 2.